I just wanted to create something where it was inclusive. There was no judgment and no bullshit.
If you think the wellness industry is all namaste and quiet voices, think again. Today's guest is here to bring some no judgment, no BS energy to the table. Stephanie Green is a musician, a super empath, and the owner of the award-winning We Are Wellness Centre. She's seen the trends come and go, survived the COVID shift, and is on a mission to stamp out the ego in spirituality.
And so many disciplines like yoga, therapies, workshops, even the spiritual work under one roof. So what is the core philosophy that ties it all together?
We have people that come in for, like, say, physiotherapy, and they end up leaving having shamanic healing. I think people need to be around other people more. So since COVID, because we were isolated so much and it affected a lot of people, they need that communication and that connection with other humans. I have heard some stories recently about people using it as like a tool for therapy, and that scares me because we're losing the ability to self-reassure.
Love how you have combined physical, emotional and spiritual well-being into something that truly feels like a sanctuary. Hey Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so could you please introduce about yourself for our audience?
My name is Stephanie Green, and I'm the owner of We Are Wellness in Leeds, England.
So yeah, Stephanie, I've been looking at your website, We Are Wellness. So it is such a beautiful concept. And yeah, tell me a little bit about your journey, how long you've been doing this and what led you to
Oh my God.
create this space.
Well, I've always been into business. I was a musician. Well, I still am a musician, and I was always into the business side of it as well. So there's always been that sort of entrepreneurial thing going on. And then I had a business before this one, and I built it up and I sold it. And then I started this business after I'd had my second child. And I just wanted to create something where it was inclusive. There was no judgment. Well, as much as no judgment as you can, because we're human. And no bullshit. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? Sorry, well, I just did, so tough. So
It's okay.
sorry. And a place where people have a community and they can come together and they can feel good about themselves, and somewhere where we can build their self-esteem, we can help them feel relaxed. We're coming up to the 10th birthday, which is January the 4th, 2026. I opened the doors January the 4th, 2016. So it's the 10-year anniversary coming. And the last 10 years has just been really sort of building the community and the amount of people that work there. I've got 75 members of staff now, teachers and therapists. And then we do have other people that come in and hire as well. And they're part of it, but they're not, I'm not employing them, but they're part of the community. And that's just basically been the last 10 years of what we've been doing, I could tell you lots of details about those 10 years, but, I'm not sure you probably won't be interested in that sort of stuff.
No, it is not like that. We are interested in such a kind of journeys because 10 years is not an easy thing to run a business like you.
Yeah.
So it is obviously an incredible journey.
It's been the
You
whole
have
of
been,
my 40s. I'm 50 next year. And I
wow,
started it.
happy 50.
Let's not talk about it. It's been the whole of my 40s. So yes, I'm 40 to 50. So this is We Are Wellness.
It is incredible, yeah. So in the We Are Wellness, so you have managed to blend so many disciplines like yoga, therapies, workshops, even the spiritual work under one roof. So what is the core philosophy that ties it all together?
Oh, that's a good question. I think for me, it's because it's part of mind, body, soul, emotions. Everything is wrapped up in one. And I also think that a lot of people resonate with some things and they don't with others. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get to that place for them, like it has done for me. We have people that come in for, like, say, physiotherapy, and they end up leaving having shamanic healing, because it's something that we've had resistance to. But it's just to have a whole range of things available to everyone and then they can pick what resonates with them on that particular part of their journey, you know, because some people might need one thing and others might need another, you know. And I think that's where it came from. And it's also to have like an open mind about these things as well. You know, a lot of people will just go straight to their doctor. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm just saying a lot of people will have a certain mindset of like, right, okay, I'm going to do that. But there are other options open here. And I wanted to make those options available.
So in some way, do you kind of think like the prevention is better than cure with all these things?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that would be brilliant if we could catch, like, say, anxiety or trauma before it happens. But that's not reality about it, is it? You know, because we're traumatized from birth. We're you know, it just depends on what sort of life you've had and also what kind of person you are, you know, and what affects you and what doesn't. But if we can prevent stuff, that would be amazing, because you can do it in a state of happiness and, you know, kindness towards yourself, or you could do it in a state of fear and anxiety. And which one would you prefer? I mean, I'd rather do it happy, you know, and do it my way, but some people can't do it that way. So I would think that I would prefer that, yes, but I wouldn't, it's not reality, to be honest with you. Yeah.
So if someone walks into VR Wellness for the first time, what kind of experience, what kind of experience do you want them to walk away with?
Well, for me, it's just to feel welcomed, first off. I take pride in like the aesthetics of the building, the way that makes people feel. So the smells, the cleanliness is really important to me. Maybe I'm a bit of a freak about that, but whatever. You know, the energy of the building, the energy of the staff. We have a lot of people who work on reception, and they're all fully trained and knowledgeable about how to you know, greet people, not just in a way of like, hi, how are you? You know, so why did I do an American accent? I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's not just that, hi, how are you? It's knowing what it's taken for that person to actually walk into that building. Because some people, you don't know what their journey's been just to even get to that front door. And so that's really important to me, that they're welcomed and that they feel safe. And that's the main thing. And then from there, we go to a class or a therapy or massage or a workshop or whatever.
So the wellness industry, or kind of, if we talk about the particular industry, they have been changed a lot, especially since the COVID. And we are in a kind of digital era. So things have been changing really very quick. So you have been in the industry for like almost 10 years now. So so you might have seen so many trends coming in and going out. So if you could talk about what it used to be before and what changes you have been observing now, it would be really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny one, because in the post-COVID era, we've got a lot more people who are a lot more available at a lot more different times. So you used to get people more so who were like at work. It was like an absolute thing. It was like, you could bet your money on putting a workshop or a class on at a certain time. And now people are more available because a lot of people work from home or they're self-employed. And I've sort of thought that people's mentality would be that they wouldn't want to come out as much and be around people, but it's actually the opposite. I think people need to be around other people more so since COVID, because we were isolated so much and it affected a lot of people. It didn't affect me much, if I'm honest with you. It was, you know, I was like, yeah, whatever. I know that sounds awful, yeah, whatever, but not to the horrible side of it, you know, but I mean to the sort of isolation side of it. But for other people, I think they need that communication and that connection with other humans, and just being around them just to validate. I found a lot of that. And during COVID, I had a lot of people ringing me up and messaging me just in their own distress, you know, because they were alone. And a lot of that time, I would just speak to a lot of people on the phone, just trying to help them out and listen to them and just be there, because they didn't have anyone else, you know. And that was a really difficult one. But I think that people's routines have changed. I think their mindset has changed as well. I think a lot more people are looking towards the sort of complementary side of things and the natural way of feeling healthy, not just within their body physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. Because I think a lot of it affected so many people in different ways that they would never have predicted, you know, emotionally within themselves, that they're starting to look at new things now. And I think that's the difference between before and after. I think there's a lot of people who are still living in quite a bit of fear with it, but then there's also a lot of people who aren't. And then there's this gratitude that I can feel as well of,
Mm.
my God, actually, I really appreciate people, which is brilliant. You know, if we think about the positives that we can get out of it, that's a brilliant thing. But they're the things that I've noticed. I don't think that, you know, it's like you know, like that sort of thought process of like online. It's like, oh, is everyone going to be online now? Is everyone going to be teaching classes online? There's a lot of people who still do Zooms and things, but I
Mm.
think that's maybe like a process that they need. You know, it's like they're in that sort of not that's not regime, that they're in that sort of routine. And I also think it's easy as well because they can fit it in where because I feel like life's busier now as well for people.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's the only things that I've really noticed, if I'm honest. Unless you want me to go deep into my philosophy of the COVID vaccine,
I get it.
which I don't think anyone wants to hear.
Obviously, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Like there have been so many changes, especially that people, how they want to collaborate with each other compared to previous COVID and after COVID. They have been changed a lot.
Yeah.
But I would agree, like a few people became very lazy
Yeah.
to go out. They've been stuck in that kind of
They're in a
lifestyle of
routine
being
now.
home.
It's a safety zone for them.
Yeah, but for few people who is really kind of working from home every time, so they would really want a kind of places like how you are doing with the creating the community, and also I really appreciate what you are doing currently. Yeah. So if we talk about another subject, which is a kind of very trendy now, like so everyone is talking about AI. So why
Let's talk
don't we
about
AI? So why don't we talk about it? So do you see any kind of what these digital tools is being, how they are implementing, or kind of changes it has been bringing in the market? So do you observe any kind of?
Well, personally, I can only tell you about my personal experience, and I only used AI for the first time 2 weeks ago. I
Oh,
know, right? Late to the party, but I kind of
yeah.
didn't need it. You know, I was like, I heard all about Chat GPT, whatever it's called, and I used it for the first time, and I thought, yeah, that's really cool. And it's also very useful for time. And I think
Mm.
that there's so many positive things about it, but yet there's so many negative things as well. And I think there's that, you know, obviously there's a balance with everything. I think that for me personally, I think, you know, in my opinion, that I would use it for something like just making sure that it sounded, you know, like if you put something into AI and you said, oh, can you make me sound a bit better? Because I'm not the most eloquent in communication or speaking, you know, I'm better writing stuff down, but I'd like it to be a little bit smarter, a little bit more coherent. And I can understand how AI can help with that. But I have heard some stories recently about people using it as like a tool for therapy. And that scares me because we're losing the ability to self reassure. And, you know, and that is, can you imagine if the internet just went down or you didn't have 5G or your phone ran out of battery and you're using this as a sort of reassurance tool? And that scares me a bit about it because what I feel is that you need that self reassurance. And I'm frightened that people are going to get addicted to that side of it. Something else that frightens me is that you don't know what's real and what's not. So you see pictures online, you know,
Yeah.
Paul McCartney's at my grandma's house, you know, and it's like, he wasn't like, you know, but there's a picture that looks like he is. And that's you know, and we're living in a very gullible world. There's a lot of people who are very gullible and that worries me. But I think as tools for things like, you know, like Amazon, they've got an AI thing on their inbox. You know, if you speak to them, they have this thing and it helps.
The chatbot.
Yeah, that's cool. I can understand that. And, you know, so
Mm.
there is a lot of positives to it. But yeah, I think that we're starting to lose a little bit of our own patience. I think we're starting to lose a little bit of our own creativity through the lack of patience. And I also
Yeah.
think that we're losing a little bit of like our own thought process and, oh, I'll just put it through AI and it's dead quick. And yeah, I can understand because I've used it. I'm guilty. But I also felt like I was a bit thick as well because this AI thing came out and it was like, wow, I need to go back to school. You know,
Yeah.
I can see both sides of it, if I'm honest.
Mm.
But then I've only really got 2 weeks of experience with
Mm,
it and what I've seen, and that's it really, So I'm not
mm,
probably not the, knowledgeable person to ask, but that's my opinion
mm.
today.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. So as you said, like, so every coin has two sides of it. So there are advantages, there are disadvantages. So, but if we talk about it, it is going to be completely other episode for the entire thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, if we dig more, there are a lot of things which we can discuss about these things. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
so if we, yeah, please.
I was just going to say, I think respect comes into it. It's like you have to respect what you're using it for and like not forget the values of what being a human is, if that's not
Mm,
too deep.
mm,
It's the same with anything though. You've got to respect what that is. And I think if
mm,
there's a disrespect there and it's like, all right, I'm just going to use it, you're going to end up relying on it. And then you're not going to be able to think or create for yourself or
mm,
to the point of self reassurance. And then that's disrespectful to yourself, isn't it? So
yeah.
it's a big thing, I think.
Makes sense. So yeah, coming back to the VR wellness. So you've been doing this for nearly a decade now, and you have helped so many people to transform through your programs, classes, and the therapies. So can you share one or two specific success stories that stand out for you?
God. Well, the one that's just come to my mind immediately is on the staff side of it because it's only just happened.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends who I've known for 20 years, she started working for me. And I met her through a job as well, which is fascinating. And she started working for me maybe about 5, 6 years ago, just helping me out in the background. This was when we were coming out of COVID and she was helping me out with some admin and, some back end, back to the scenes sort of stuff. And she just, what's the right word? Oh my God, I've got no words today. I'm so tired. She just qualified. That's it, qualified. She just qualified as a yoga teacher the other day. So she's gone through this whole journey of working in the studio and she had her own yoga practice. And it's just her journey of growth throughout that 6 years that I've seen. And she's just, yeah, incredibly just qualified as a yoga teacher. And then she's going to be doing her first yoga class at We Are Wellness on the 1st of November. So that one came to my mind straight away because that's just
Mm,
happened, and I'm so
yeah.
it's so cool. But others sort of, oh my God, there's so many. I mean, I personally see clients because I'm a super empath and a psychic medium. So I see clients in that side of things, not just as a business owner. And all
Mm,
of my readings are about living in your truth and being empowered because I want people to have their own clarity. I want people to have that self reassurance and self esteem to be able to get on in life. And I think that there's many, many people that have come to me who have been in a place of just of no worth. They can't feel that worth within inside themselves.
mm,
And yeah, just I tell people the truth. And I know sometimes it's difficult to hear the truth and sometimes it's not the right time. But when it is the right time and they listen to the truth and they actually get it, and then they go off and they've listened to what you've said because you know how they feel, you know things about them because of what I do. They listen to it and they go off and do their own self work or they do it within We Are Wellness. And you just that journey to clarity and empowerment and the growth of self esteem, which to a normal level, not to the level of like, we're talking ego bullshit here. We're talking about normal level of self-esteem. That's where the success is for me, And I've got so many of these stories. You watch people come in, and they're frightened that you can see that in their body. They're like, oh God.
mm,
And they come in and do like a beginner's course, a beginner's yoga course. They've never done yoga before. And even by 4 weeks' time, they're leaving and they're like, you can see there's a different stance to them, and just the way they feel. Um, yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, 10 years is a long time, a long time.
yeah.
And there's so many of them. And there's so many people that come to the classes for different teachers and therapists and just say, oh my God, just how much this has changed my life, just the perception of things and just to have a place and a person that they can resonate with. It's not me all the time, obviously. I'm only one person.
Mm,
But there's obviously all these other teachers and therapists which are doing incredible jobs and work that they touch the lives of these people. And for me personally, it's the self-esteem journey. You know, if we feel that value
Yeah.
of ourselves, I'm still on my own personal one. But you know, if we feel that value of ourselves, then, you know, what more is there? That's the sort of goal to get to. And then anything is possible because then you believe in yourself. So like,
Mm.
that's it, you know, for me personally, but that's
Mm.
my belief anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's hundreds, thousands, millions.
Yeah. I know. It is so inspiring.
You know.
Yeah. So if we talk a little bit about the business aspect, so every business, especially in wellness, has its share of challenges. So what are some of the biggest hurdles you're facing right now as a business founder?
The biggest, right, okay, sorry, because there's been a lot.
Yeah.
The biggest challenges, if I'm going to be completely honest, is ego.
Mm.
That's the biggest challenge for me. I can deal with a leaky roof. I can deal with people, you know, maybe quieter periods. I can, you know, all of that logistical stuff I can deal with because you just do it, you know? It's like, I don't stress about it. It just happens. I believe in what we do. So I don't believe that, you know what I mean? It's like, I've got that belief.
Mm.
But when you come across people with massive egos in the wellness industry, because it's so far removed from what you're expecting, that's when I find the most difficult. Like, not for me personally, I have to deal with it, but that's what I come up against that I find is difficult in the wellness industry. Because you have all these people going, you know, namaste, I believe this, and I live my life like this. And they're not, they're just arseholes. And that's what I don't like. Sorry, I'm very honest. Apologies.
So you mean the egoistic thing is something related to getting the clients or with the kind of competition or
All of it, yeah. I mean, I'm not
Mm.
saying that everyone's like this at all, because a lot of people are not. But you do get an odd few people here and there who do feel that, you know, threat from another teacher or another therapist that, you know, oh my God, I need to do better than you, or you've got more clients than me. And it's what? What? It doesn't, I don't understand that in my own head. I just think that everyone's an individual. Everyone has their
Mm.
own spark. You cannot do or be another person. And that's what the beauty of being an individual is. And that should be celebrated. That's just my personal view. And that's how I've always lived. So when I come across
Mm.
people who get threatened by that, or it can go the other side and they can lose their confidence and, you know, and have that lack of self-worth and like, oh no. And they go the other side and they get really sort of downtrodden with it. And that's where I can help people because there's no ego there. It's the other side of it. But when you've got that
Mm.
sort of narcissistic ego of, I think the worst thing is when people say, you know, it's the lack of truth in it. And when people say things like, yes, this is what I'm teaching, you're in a position of somewhat authority, somewhat inspiring people, you know, and you're saying all this stuff, but yet you're not living it. And if you're not living it, just be honest about it. And that's where the issue is,
Mm.
the lack of truth within it, you know? But no one like that works at my place. And if they find out they do, then they don't work at my place. I don't care.
Mm.
It's the way it is. It's like get sorted out, you know? And because there's no room for that. There's no room for that because you're dealing with people's safe space, number one. You're dealing with people's emotions and mental health. And then if you make it all about you and like how threatened you are because you're in competition, what? Nah,
Mhm.
not having it. I ain't got time for it. So I find that is things that I have to deal with. That's the things that are takes up most of my time, you know, leaky
Mm.
roofs, whatever.
Mm.
You know, you just sort it out. But stuff is time consuming because there's passive aggressive, there's narcissism, you know, and I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah. If we again kind of discuss about the business aspect in this podcast, we talk a lot about the customer acquisition, marketing, etc., kind of business aspects. If you could tell us about a little bit about how you kind of get new clients or new teachers into the business, and what are the kind of criterias you've been following to make this business successful?
You're not gonna like me because I'm not a massive like marketing fan.
Mm.
And I know that people are gonna go, what? In my mind, I feel like if you create something and you enjoy the thing that you're creating, energy is out there. So, like, say, if we want to get sort of technical about it, like on Instagram, I create reels that I enjoy creating. I'm quite creative when it, you put the sound and the movement and the shapes together, because I love that sort of creativity aspect of it, being a musician and making music videos and stuff like that. And I feel like there's no words on it. You know how like on Instagram you've got these words and people are pointing at these things. I'm like, what are you pointing at? And then you've got like, all the words on the screen and stuff. And it's like, I just like to create. And I think that if I create and I put it out there and I use like, say, Instagram as a tool, as a window, like window panes, so people can look into the business just as like a little window, then they might see a snippet of that energy that's there. If we want to get technical about marketing, we just try and tell as many people as humanly possible in many different ways about what we do. We have certain formats of how we do that and routines of how we do that. But I feel like the excitement of the energy of what we're doing brings people in anyway. And I think the majority of the business and the way it's worked, which is why I said you're not going to like me, is through word of mouth. A lot of people have come, they've had such an experience that they've told someone else, and then they've come, and then the same thing has happened. Don't get me wrong, we do flyers, we do marketing like that, we do online stuff, but it's to get to a further field. I don't usually think about it in terms like that. I just think if I'm enjoying what I'm doing and what I'm putting out, then that means that it feels right. But if I don't enjoy it, I don't do it and I don't put it out. And that's the way that I work. And I know that sounds a little bit, you'll probably get all these marketing people going, what? Tell me it's not working, and it is.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me personally. That's just the way I enjoy doing it. I don't want to sit there and go, women between 35 and 42 who vote Liberal Democrats and all this sort of stuff. It's like, well, we resonate with something, and hopefully they will resonate with something that I've created and the energy that's come through with that, and they will see that. But that's my marketing strategy. But I think one of the things that is really important in business is to understand that it's not about you. So it's not about me. Do you know what I mean? Like I have these ideas and creations, and it's like I'm part of the wheels and the cogs that are turning. And yeah, it's my thing, and yeah, I'm the owner, and whatever. But it's not about me. So what I enjoy and what I like and what I resonate with and what I think isn't what anyone else likes, enjoys, and resonates with, So when you take yourself out of it, it's more of like the ego out of it. And it's like, well, I think this and I think we should do that. And it's like, well, no, I want to create. This is why inspiration and creation is so important. And it takes the ego out of it, And I think that people in business, if they do that, then they're going to be more successful because they're actually looking at what people want instead of what you think. And I think that's really important. Well, for me anyway, from my experience.
Yeah, makes sense. What I was saying, yeah. To wrap it up this episode, if we could just share a little bit about your future goals and where do you want to see VR Wellness in the next 2 years or 3 years?
How long have you got? You said wrap it up. Hold on. Oh my God, I've got so much to do. Like, I know I've done 10 years in this business, but I've got so much to do. Like I said, we just opened the training academy. We're launching online classes. We're launching on demand. I'm hoping to build a big glass garden studio in the grounds of where the building is and fit out the cellars with saunas and, stuff like that. There's so much to do. But not only that, I don't know, I can't even explain. There's so much going on in my head. It's like, do you remember Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when he's making the invention with the breakfast thing? That's what's going on in my head. And it's just constant. It's like, how can I make this better? How can we help more people? And whatever avenue that we have to go down to do that, that's what I'll do, more locations abroad, things like that. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I really want to do is stamp out the narcissism and the ego as well. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't even know if I can. But I'm going to give it a good try. So while I'm doing all that, I'm going to get rid of all of those people as well. Not get rid of them. That sounds awful. But it's, try and stamp out the ego within that as well. But watch, I said that and I said it like I was quite Kanye. So do you know what I mean? I was like, I believe in myself so much that I'm going to stamp out the ego.
Yeah. But of course, it is going to be a kind of very difficult job. But
I said that really egotistically as well, didn't I? So There's a balance in everything. But no, there's so much to do, so much to do. So 2 years is, yeah, I've done a hell of a lot in the past year. So 2 years, we're going to be like massive. Yeah, just help more people and not even just help people, customers, but members of staff, give people jobs, stuff like that. And also try and, as a personal thought, help myself to relax a little bit more
Mm,
and not work as
yeah,
much. So I don't know how I'm going to do all that and take a break at the same time. I have no idea, but it's exciting.
yeah, yeah.
I like the
Wonderful.
project.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So wonderful. Stephanie, like this has been such a refreshing conversation. So I love how you have combined physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being into something that truly feels like a sanctuary. So thank you for sharing your story, and
You're very well.
thank you for your insights. Yeah, it is really amazing chatting with you. So if you could yeah, end this session by saying like people wants to find you, where they can find you on maybe online, or the location for your
For the business, yeah. So it's
yeah.
We Are Wellness. We're based in Hyde Park in Leeds, in England. The website address is wearewellness.co.uk. Yeah. Or maybe just close your eyes and feel the energy, man. That's going to be the most hidden thing I've ever said. But, just balancing that out.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining us today and sharing your valuable insight.
I want to
Really
do a
looking
longer
forward.
podcast. I'll let you in on all the secrets.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, we will have another episode for only only to discuss about the egos of people and how you are tackling with it, and what is your action plan of
I don't
resolving
know. It's not really an action plan. It's just a hope.
yeah, of course. Yeah, got it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for asking. It's appreciated.
Thank you.